All right, well, welcome into another technology series chat. Bob, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
It's where have you been hiding, man?
Dark room.
Dark room.
Closed blinds.
Doing well. I know you've been wherever you've been hiding. You've been busy recently because it's been super cool to see what has been upgraded on our scheduling and scoring platform, and that's why I wanted to get you to join us today. There's been a lot of enhancements. It's been cool. This is a piece of the software that I'm biased, but it's one of my favorite parts to live. And you and I have had so many chats over the years of you know, what it can do and what we want it to do. And I think it's been pretty cool. This last period of time, we've seen so many changes to it. So shout out to you and the team.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We learned a lot over the last several years, and a lot of it's more just the functionality is all the same, just getting into much smaller space and get to be able to do much more on one screen rather than having to bounce around on too many screens. So
amazing. Sweet. So for our chat today, I'm going to just walk through a user experience of setting up a bracket. We'll do a round robin and a playoff bracket. And as we go through, I want you to stop me on along the way and say, this is what we've changed. This is what looks new. And that way for existing partners, this is going to be a great video to check out and see what's changed and maybe what you already find familiar. And then for partners that might be thinking about using our scheduling and scoring platform, this is a great video to see, hey, this is where we've taken it since the last time you checked it out.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Sweet. Awesome. So nothing really changes with our kind of step one in the process. You want to go into event setup and you want to go into venues and courts, or venues and fields, or venues and rinks. The terminology changes as we set the sport type on the event shell. And then in here, typically you're probably setting this with your account manager at the time of renewal. This is important information for not just the scheduling and scoring piece, but for hotel contracting and that good stuff. But nonetheless, always good to check before you get too deep into the scheduling and scoring to make sure all your venues are loaded up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we're missing one, I could jump in here and hit add venue. And this is tied to Google Maps. So once we start typing in a recognizable address or venue name, it's going to pop up, and we'll hit add venue here. Once we have a venue, what's my next step?
Well, you're going to want to add the courts. So each venue is going to come with like a set of courts, maybe one court, maybe a primary court, maybe a couple secondary courts. So you just want to name them here. Your time between games, it's less necessary with the new features, but this used to be like the time between each game to be able to set up the court, or like in baseball, like, rate the field,
right,
or the infield runner.
Hockey's my favorite example with the Zamboni.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't need to use this as much as you used to because of the way the grid is set up now in this new scheduler. So
cool. So we'll just add in a few courts here just to give us lots to work with. As you just mentioned, we can or cannot put in the time between games.
Yeah, and I want to point out here that this is where you used to have to set up the availability for each day. Ignore that for now because the new features are much faster, much more geared towards the new experience. So you can still use the site availability this way, but you're going to want to do it on the grid rather than here.
Agreed. I think that's one of the biggest workflow changes.
That is the biggest. We went from having like an open site availability from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to having more time slot settings of time slots on the grid.
Right.
For a lot of reasons, scheduling is just a lot better to just work within a grid.
Yeah, and I'm excited for us to get into that and show that today, which is going to be pretty cool. So, but yeah, if you're taking notes, if you're someone that's used the system before, we were always driving into go to this page, set up your availability. Now it's just set up your venues and courts or rinks and fields, and then move forward.
Yeah, and if you are coming from this previous system, you're going to appreciate this upgrade much better because this used to be very tedious.
Right.
Especially when you have a large event, you have like 20 fields or 20 courts to fill out.
Yeah.
That availability over multiple days becomes very tedious.
Yeah.
Now it's done in like 3 clicks. So
There's a certain sand soccer partner I'm thinking about that's going to love that. You know, 60, 64, 65 courts.
Oh boy.
Something like that. So,
that would be a lot.
Sweet. One other feature on this page I want to jump into, we call it, site restrictions. And this is probably an underutilized feature. It's a little hidden, but talk me through why we'd want to use this.
Geez, I haven't thought about this feature in a long time. Site restrictions, we more or less was like, it's a bad name for it as a site restriction, but like, let's say you had a lunch on one of the
skills competition.
A skills competition, sure. It could be anything, or like ceremonies or stuff like that. You could actually pencil them in as a restriction. One, it puts them on the calendar so that you don't put a game on top of it, but it also shows up on your app and stuff like that as a scheduled event that anybody could attend. Depending on what it is, main reason for it is essentially to not allow a game to be put there, but it can be used in this way as well as like ceremonies or like what you said.
Skills competition, or even if there was an event going on that you wanted to bring people to, like let's say it was a dance or a free skate or anything like that. So I've seen it used in many different ways. Home run derby. You can come up with all these different things. Really, what it boils down to is when you want people at your event to be aware of it, and it might be on a field that has games, and you want to block that time out. What I really do enjoy about using this feature though is it's a great promotional tool because it shows up in people's app.
It shows up in the app
on the schedule. So if you're doing anything that's outside of a game but you want to drive attention to, this is a great feature.
I agree. Jesus, thanks for showing me this feature. It's been a while. It's been a while.
It's cool. It's cool how many pieces we get to bolt on over time. I think when we first launched this was one of the features that people really enjoyed, and it was a big topic of conversation. And like to your point, now it's something that people know it's there and they use it, but it's a hidden gem.
Yeah, that's some of the best software we write is when it's like you almost forget it's there not because it's not cool anymore, but because it's just so maintained and well used that you don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just working on its own.
Last thing to mention on this page before we move forward is not to go right into the functionality of each button, but we've developed a lot of kind of shortcuts.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned those partners that have a ton of venues and courts. You can import those over, and it'll copy all that data. It won't bring over the availability because we know that can change from weekend to weekend.
Correct, yes.
But if you have a facility that has 16, or we have one that's 60 courts, you don't have to build out all 60 courts anymore.
It's especially nice for like reoccurring events. If you have one every year, then it's always at the same few places. So you just bring them all back, bring them all in, and it just brings them in. So it's really nice and handy.
So on any page, it's always look in the top right hand corner.
Yeah.
There's a little gift for you up there.
That's a nice way to put it. A little gift.
A little gift. It's a short guy. It's the awesome.
By the way, this is also where you would also organize the order of your venues. So for example, if you want to have Western Fair it's at the left this time.
Sweet.
This is where you'd actually put, if you want to put the Western Fair as the first venue, you can actually just arrange it there as well. So hit save. It should update on the grid as well.
Amazing. Great. Cool. Anything else on this page that you love to chat about? I think we covered it, but
I think that's great as far as for this feature. So yeah.
Awesome. So now we have our venues and sites all set up. We're ready to jump into that scheduling and scoring piece. And to get to that part of the software, we go under scheduling and scoring, and we go into pools and brackets.
Yeah. So what would you do first? There's two ways to kind of go from here. You can either start building up your brackets, or you can set up your time slots.
I always start with building the brackets because then the workflow brings you to that screen where then you set up the availability.
It does, yeah, exactly. Perfect. All right.
Awesome. And one thing I always mention to our partners is this page is set up just like your registration pages.
Yes.
So like where your divisions are. So
yes, exactly.
If you wanted to configure, if you get here and you want to see it differently, you go into your divisions and you set it up there.
That's right, yeah.
But in this case, we're going to work on the 16U division that we have set up. On the far right hand side, you see the number 24. This is the number of teams that are registered in the event.
That's right.
Or in the division, sorry. When we click on 16U, it brings up this button, and we're going to hit Create Games. which brings up this modal, which is really the start of the workflow. So we'll demo with a 16U pool play. One of my little tips and tricks is always to name your bracket what the division and the format is. So in this case, 16U pool play.
That's right. Yeah, it's we can't obviously bring it. We can't control the size of the division name, so sometimes it's better to just leave the division name out of the, like when you're scheduling. Such a small little chip, right? When you're moving calendar games around. So typing in the 16U is important so you know which one you're working with.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. So that's my little naming trick. I mean, people have their ways of doing it, but this way, when you're working with multiple divisions, it keeps it organized once you get moving forward.
For game length now, so with the new workflow being very much geared towards like using time slots on the grid, it's very important that your game length is the same length as what your time slots are. So some people will build into the game length like the time between games, for example. So if it's like a 2-hour slot, the game might be 15 minutes less than 2 hours, right? But you'd still make the game length the 2-hour slot. And it's important because the snapping feature of the grid works really well when the games are the same size as the time slots.
Okay. Awesome. And I think that will probably make more sense as we work through this workflow when we talk about those time slots that we're going to create. But the take home point here is your game length is going to need to match that time slot that we'll address a little later. So in this example, let's say we're going to do 60-minute game lengths and 60-minute time slots.
Okay.
So I'm going to put in 60. You want to go 2 hours?
2 hours would be better, just for the view to be able to see it. Now, player rest used to be very important in the previous system because, again, with that availability being so wide open, that you would need to be able to set a player rest so you weren't able to bump, like hockey, for example, you can't have games back to back. Like these guys need to rest. So it was very important to have that player rest. Now, with the new system, because it's a grid, you can actually build into the time slots the actual rest time. You don't need to worry about it as much here. So
Okay.
again, that'll make more sense when we actually get to that.
Yeah, 100%. So still putting in a time probably. So for our endurance sports, like let's say,
it's not going to hurt anything to put it in. Yeah.
So I know most endurance sports are at least 180 minutes for rest. So we'll hit create there. And then so once we hit create, we then land on this page, which for all users is going to be a refresh. This is a new looking page here, and I'm excited about this. I think this is a place that you'll find a lot of time savings.
Yeah, I believe so too. We actually found we weren't prompting the users enough, I don't believe. So like we have all this fancy stuff on the page. We never tell anybody where to start or what to click. So with a lot of the feedback I got was just like, just ask them, like right at the beginning, like, what do you want to do? So in this case, you have 24 participating teams. Are they all coming? Probably, right?
Yep.
Now, how many teams do you want to per pool? Instead of asking you to just create your pools, how many teams do you want to have in each pool is the next question. And then that dynamically generates the number of pools you're going to create.
So maybe we say 6 pools?
So that's interesting. So you said 6 pools. It's actually 6 teams per pool.
6 teams per pool, correct.
So now you have 4 total pools.
Right.
Which is great.
Yeah. So you want to work it that way?
That sounds good to me if you want to have a 6-team.
So 6 teams per pool. And to your point, it automatically then generates those number of pools.
Yeah. And we've I actually have this working both ways.
Yeah.
At the moment, you only get the one view, but it'd be really cool. You'll see later down the road where you get to choose how you want to input. So you just said you 6 pools, which should dynamically generate 4 teams for each pool.
Right.
If my math is correct. Anyway.
Yep.
Or if you like to work in the opposite, you should just be able to toggle that if you want. But for now, it's this way for the moment.
Right, which is totally cool. Perfect. So in this case, we put in our 6 teams per pool. Which is going to be 4 pools.
So you can also create a custom label for your pools. We default to pool A, and then we go from pool A to B, C, D, whatever. But if you wanted to have, like, for some people will run like a gold bracket and then like a silver bracket, you could change that to be gold, or if you want to call it group,
Right.
Group A, Group B. It's just a way for you to like customize what your label of the pool is. So, and then also with the concept of like silver and gold, you could actually add a prefix to your pool code. So if you were to click prefix, this is going to add something in front of the A. So in our case, G, and then if you want to put a dash, separate the two or not put a dash. Now every pool would be named group G-A, G-B, G-C.
Gotcha.
If you were to do silver, gold, the next silver one might be like S or whatever you want to do for silver.
Right.
So like it's a way to kind of differentiate between the two.
Very cool.
Instead of having two pool A's, you're going to have, gold A, silver A.
Right.
Not necessary unless you have a complex tournament, so you can take that off if you like.
Sweet. No, it's a really, really good kind of shout out that this is an upgrade. We didn't have that prefix system before.
No.
So I also think it's cool. The pool label, like before you could, but you would have to customize each pool,
one.
where now you can do it all at once.
Yeah, you can do it exactly.
And again, going back to how I led off with this page, is there's so many time saving aspects to the upgrade here.
That's a big. You'll find that was the biggest reason for a lot of this upgrade was that just time savings.
Sweet.
So this was a big. And actually, this is a bit for me to wrap my head around. So we got a lot of feedback, and they actually a lot of people like to see the pools built first with all these TBDs before auto assigning all the teams. They want to see them empty first, which I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah.
So
and did you gain a sense of why our partners work that way?
Well, first of all, I was like, if you don't want to set the teams yet, you can just hit next and you're good. Like those are all there. You can put the teams in later. These are all TBDs now. They like to just visualize the pools before placing the teams in there, rather than having an empty space and then saying, select all these teams and then pool them. They'd rather see it empty and then fill it out manually. Or what I ended up doing was building this autofill feature. So if you were to select all the teams on the left-hand side, you can now you have them all selected in the order that you've shown them, and you can hit autofill, which will drop down 3 different ways to autofill. Standard will go pool A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Just like that.
Correct. You'll have to hit the setup pools again. I don't know if you can just hit clear selected.
Perfect. So top right, the cool thing is very easy to always go back and change things here. So again, we'll keep with our 6 teams in a pool with 4 pools. We'll hit apply. So we didn't like that standard setup, and then Bob, keep walking me through.
Actually, mental idea to actually do a clear all, because that would have been handy there. So again, now Snake will do the pool A1, B1, C1, D1, D2, C2, B2.
Just like that?
Just like that, yeah.
And perfect.
So hit that setup. See, now I need to make that.
And we're going to do that again. And Bob's going to take this away and make it easier moving forward. So that's sweet.
So now, then there's the randomize, which is pretty self-explanatory. So one thing that's cool about the left-hand side is you actually have the ability to order, so deselect everything.
Yeah.
If you drop down registered teams, there's this is where all your sources come from. So right now we don't have any brackets created, so there's only the registered teams as the source. But once you make a pool play, this is where you'll be able to select this pool play as a source rule.
Okay.
We'll get to that later, but for now, registered teams is the option, and the list of the teams on the left is the list of which they are. I believe it's just alphabetical order for the moment, but if you wanted to, you can hit that order button, and you can actually pop this up into this modal where you can actually assign the order of the teams. So this is handy if you're trying to get all the teams within the same hotel or the teams that are coming from the same place.
Right.
You kind of want to put them in that order, because you can see when you auto-select them and you auto-fill, if you use standard, it'll put them in the same pool. If you were to use Snake, it'll actually separate them.
Gotcha.
Right. So if you group them by, for example, where they're located, all London, Ontario, makes it pretty easy.
Yeah.
So
we got some. So you got New York and some Dorchester down there.
So what you can actually do if you scroll up to the top,
Yep.
if you hit the order button, if you order by city,
Yeah.
now it's now saying that this is the first order. Now hold shift and hit another button. So hit zip code.
Okay.
So now it's saying the second order is zip code. So you can actually do this. You can keep going if you want to do hotel name as the next one. It'll now order them. It'll group them in this order, which allows you to just essentially easily order them with these tools. You have, I think, 4 ways to sort them.
Okay.
4 sorts, and then you can hit apply, and they'll be in that order.
Very cool.
Now, another thing you can do, which was asked for just recently, if you hit the order button again, there's a color code there. You can actually color code these. So like if you actually know the order yourself,
right?
You see the color beside the team name, you can assign them a color number. Just keep ripping through, just keep putting colors to them. And then you can order by that. So like if you're not ordering by city or any of the data that we give you, you can add your own custom order by applying a color. And then hit that order button.
Sweet.
So if you don't hit shift, so don't hold shift when you hit, do the color again, but don't hit shift.
Okay.
So now that's the first order.
Gotcha.
I hit it again, so it's at the top though.
Yeah.
Oh, that cleared it one more time. There you go. So now it's in order. So if you keep going down the list and applying a color,
yep,
it'll keep ordering them. So just apply another color to see.
You want purple again?
Sure, doesn't matter. It's just going to keep them in order.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it keeps pumping them up. Nice, nice. So if green, so puts green up there too.
Yeah, exactly. So now if you hit apply, you'll see that color is on the left-hand side now. So what you can do is auto select, and then again hit autofill, whether you want snake or standard or random. So by using standard, it keeps them grouped together as best it can. Yep. By using snake, it'll separate them off. We also gave you the ability to add one additional piece of data in the table while you're pooling. So if you hit additional data on the left to that, so let's just put city. So let's say your primary pooling was by city. If you put that piece of data in there, you can actually see it. We only gave you one for the moment because that's all the room we have.
Yeah.
The idea is to let you hopefully have everything in there.
Yeah.
Maybe some sort of scrolling, but point is that however you're pooling, you can actually put that piece of data in there. Custom questions will go in there to hotel information. Anything we have in the system will go there to allow you to better pool your teams. And this is a huge upgrade because a lot of people were putting this order in something else like Excel, and then just copying from there and just like putting them in order based on that Excel spreadsheet. Well, hopefully you won't need to use Excel.
Right.
You just use this.
100%. Yes. Yes. And that's where I agree with you. These upgrades are, I believe, going to change how our partners do it. Again, back to that word of efficiencies. We understood the old system that there was this level of customization that our partners put into their events that was not conducive in the system.
Right.
They needed to kind of think it out and work on another sheet.
Yeah.
And now you can see that these tools that you're bringing in, the color coding, the ability to bring in data, the ability to create a list based on data points is now all here that you don't need to manually do in a spreadsheet, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
And super exciting for our partners to understand really how powerful this page is going to be in their process.
Not to mention how powerful the whole system is, because if you think about it, we've collected so much data on these users, on these teams, and this data will go back in the organization in the years coming, right? Like if these teams have played each other, you can actually pull in their old records. How often do these teams play each other? Well, here, it's all right here, because you've been using our system for 5 years. We have this data. So the power of having it all within our system is massive. And like the data that we can bring in is it's almost endless. Think of just how cool it is. You can just put where are they staying? Oh, these 4 teams are all kind of staying in the same area of the city. Well, let's put them together. Might as well.
Well, and on that point, where are they coming from? I have partners that if the team's coming from the west end of the city, they have hotels in the west end, rinks in the west end,
right?
So they could play their first game at that rink as they come into the city. So making
Yeah.
it a more easier experience, better experience for the teams. Also, we have some partners that start to think about how to maximize the room nights based on where teams are coming from. And so that's all scheduling, right? And now by seeing where a team's coming from, when you're creating your schedule, you can make sure that they might play the early game or the later game based on how you want to maximize those room nights.
And that's where we've always wanted to be, is that because we have the housing data to go along with the schedule. That's where our system is so powerful. It's just having it all into one, it enforces to just keep your data in one system and just use it to its fullest potential.
Yeah, cool. Well, I really love these upgrades. I think the color coding is something that our partners are really going to start to use. And then also one last thing here is I have a lot of partners talking to us about how the restrictions are utilized in the system. When you put on a team restriction, like you don't want Bobby's team to play Brandon's team. These color codings and this ability to customize the pools is going to allow you to enforce those rules that you have.
And those data points are also here. If you were to hit order again, scroll to the right. Oh, actually it's right there in the middle, restrictions. In the middle, it's a column. So we don't have we didn't set up restrictions, but this is where it would say like Bobby's team can't play Brandon's team.
Right.
Or Bobby's team and Brandon's team have the same coach. Stuff like that.
Amazing.
So, really cool.
Cool. Well, I think this speaks to the amount of tools you've put in speaks to how much our partners customize their events, and that it's not just a click of a button and there you go. So.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. So at this point, we have our 4 pools set up with the 6 teams in each pool. I like how it's all looking. So we're going to hit save and continue. And this is going to bring us now to our game creation page.
Right. So same thing, when we first come to the page, we're going to prompt you, how many games do you want each team to play? You're a 6-team pool, so 5 would be every team plays each other once, but you don't have to do that, obviously. But if you want to hit 5, there you go.
Let's get these teams in for a couple days.
You also get the ability to customize the name there. So if you just hit setup again, you don't have to click apply, just go through the options. There's 3 options. Well, 4 options, I guess. There's the numbered games, so we'll just start from 1. And then there's at home, so away at home, or versus away, which is home versus away. If you want that labeling.
Yeah.
The numbering is really cool. You actually, if you want to show it, it's kind of neat. Hit the numbering. So you can actually set where you want to start. So for example, if this was let's for example, you did a pool play and then you went into like a gold and then a silver. So let's say 60 games was created from the pool play. You would start gold at 61 and you'd alternate. So it'd be 61, 63, 65. And then silver would start at 62 and it would alternate as well. So 62, 64, 66. And then that way, all the way to your bracket, you have your numbered from 1 to, let's say, 120 as your numbered games. And it keeps them all together.
And this is the mechanism when you look at a schedule and you go, we're at game 500.
Yeah.
That's when they're counting all divisions, as a total game.
You can do that as well. So exactly. So let's say you can start at 1 again for each division, or start at the last number.
Yeah, it's really cool. Really cool. Awesome. Yeah. And the ability for the formatting of the name, like the at home or versus away, this just speaks to the different sports that are on our platform, because sports really do it differently. So
and it's the same to the pool idea, where like you used to be able to do this no problem. You have to do it in each individual. Now you can just set it up that way. So another great thing about this page, a big upgrade, is that the pools are all on one page. All the games are on one page, not separated between different pools, so you can actually see all the games in one spot.
Yeah, so no longer jumping on here and going, I see pool A, but pool B and C are missing.
Exactly. So it's all right here. And on the left side, it still shows you all the same stuff, like how many games they have, how many home games. And as you hover over the team, it'll actually highlight them on the right side as well.
That's really cool. I know some partners really love how much like the highlighting of teams when you're hovered over them comes up. And this comes up in the scheduling part as well. So Cool. A couple other features that I know partners used in the old system. They haven't gone away. They just look a little different. The ability to take a game out from counting. So it's like an exhibition game. And that's this little, I'll just zoom in here. Score included in standings. If we check that, we'll get the little X there. And that, again, removes it from the standings. Why do we see partners use this? Sometimes you have like odd number of teams in a division. You need a team to play that extra game, but you want everyone to only count 3 games towards the standings. So that's the most common thing. I've also seen like an exhibition game prior to the tournament, and both of them might not count. So you could do it that way too, but you still want it on the schedule, and that's how you would use that. And then this little swap button here is how you change home and away.
Correct.
So I think, again, these features existed in the old system, but they're a little bit easier to see. They're more present in this way. So
we used to have one of the cards of the game in the old system would be like 6 games in this one.
Yes.
So you can see how we really use the space a lot better.
Yep, cool. Awesome. So I mean, it's pretty quick. If you did have other like cross pool games to add, you add them in there. This gives you the ability to create a matchup with any team registered. It's not going to limit you to just seeing the teams in each pool. Correct. Like you would if you click add game here. But I'm going to hit save and continue because now we have all our matchups created. And now the screen is showing on the left-hand side what the standings would look like, and then on the right-hand side all of our games.
Yeah, again, not hidden, just all there.
Yeah, cool.
And again, we're using left and right space rather than top and bottom because oftentimes the standings were missed because they're way down below the games.
Right,
so,
right. And now thank you for the upgrade of the edit buttons. The old system, I would always have to say to partners, there's a certain point in time where that is set in stone. And if you need to make a change, throw it in the garbage and start over. And we know how time consuming that was. So now
especially after you've scheduled.
Yeah.
Imagine that you've scheduled, you're like, well, toss it.
I've had to break that news to some people. So, well, you changed it. We're good. And so for our partners in the past, knowing that was part of the system and one of the blocks maybe. Yeah. Now, if we get to this point and you're like, I need to make a change, you can just hit the edit games button here and it brings us back to that page that we were at earlier where you can just make any of those changes on the fly.
If you want to change the seeds, the teams, you hit edit teams. So if A3 is now a different team, you go to edit teams. You can change the pooling as well.
Yeah, 100%. So either both games or pools, we can go back, but we're not like scrapping it and starting from fresh. You can see any changes you make. We just hit that save and continue button in the bottom right-hand corner, and it's going to jump us back through those steps just to keep on moving.
That's another thing I'd like to upgrade. I don't like that this is save and continue now from this space.
Sweet. So we'll just keep on.
One of the things I love about this upgrade as well is now we're showing all the tabs at the top. We're showing all the brackets and all the whole tournament within it. So scroll up a touch.
Yep.
See, all you have right now is just the 16U pool play.
Yeah.
It shows you how many teams, how many games total. So from here, you can hit create right beside it to create the playoff.
Which we're going to do. So let's hit create playoffs. And again, naming it what it is, right? So it's 16U playoffs. And our bracket format, single or double elimination. We're going to do single elimination today. But for you big tournaments out there, there's that double elimination. Yeah. And then number of teams today, let's keep it simple. We'll just bring the first place of each pool.
Sure.
So I'm going to do number of teams as 4. And then we have our source types. So walk me through the source types.
Okay. You're going to have me explain this. So there's 3 source types, and I can never get a good naming convention for the last one. So you're going to help me.
All right, let's do it.
Overall is what it is. It's overall. So you put all the pools up against each other and who's the top player or top team. Pool is the same concept, but it's by pool. So first place in pool A, first in pool B. Pool placement is the concept where you take all of your, let's say you're doing the best of your first place team. So you take all your first place teams And in the scenario of pool, just because you're pool A doesn't mean that you're the best one.
Yeah.
Pool placement says pool C might have a better team than pool A, so they are number 1 seed. I call it pool placement, and I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you explained it right on. So again, it's taking those, take the first place team. So in this case, there's 4 first place teams because there's 4 pools, and then you're gonna then reorder them there and place them into the bracket as such.
Would you find that like more people are using pool placement than would be using pool?
If you're doing like bringing in, let's say 8 teams in this scenario instead of, 8 teams instead of 4, and you're bringing first and second from each pool, then you would, because you would want your best first place team to play your last second place team. So 100%, it's a very popular configuration.
When you explain this to clients, do they understand what it?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, I'll keep the naming convention the way it is.
Let's keep it moving.
Until you tell me what differently.
All right. I'm a big name guy. I'll come up with something.
Yeah. So again, so the concept is still the same on the bracket. On the left hand, we've pre-selected what you chose in the modal. So you did pool. So we've selected first.
We're just going to change this. It's first in group. We want the first place in each group here. So in this scenario, we are taking the first place team in each pool, or in this scenario, we've called them groups, and we are placing them into the bracket here on the right-hand side. Yeah. Now, there's a couple cool things that you can do before we get there. So walk me through those drop downs.
Yeah, so this is probably my favorite upgrade of the whole thing, is that if anybody's done the seed sourcing in the past, the old way, you know how many clicks it is to just get to change what the seed source rules are for each seed. So now you have the ability to just see all the source rules available in one spot and then select the one you want. So you have selected 16U pool play as the source of the seed.
Yep.
Now there's the 4 different types drop down: overall, pool placement, and then games.
Cool.
So you actually can select a mix of source rules if you ever wanted. So if you wanted the top 2 teams in group and then the winner of this random game, and the loser of this random game, you can do that in one spot instead of having to do this all tediously within the one seed.
It's amazing. It's so cool. It's so cool. And I like the default by pool. It's typically how, and again, that's where we set it there. But yeah, it's so sweet how quick you can kind of get around and grab teams from anywhere to build up your pool or your playoffs.
Yeah. Being able to select them all at the same time. So you, instead of having, so you have 4 team selections, just autofill, and there she is.
Sweet. And then if we need to make any changes, it's pretty easy just to click this and click this guy, and then we're going to go like that and change it around.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to change the name, you can just type it in right there.
Sweet. So yeah, so if we do that, let's say semifinal 1, semifinal 2, and then final. Sweet.
There you go. Hit save and continue, and you're good.
Awesome. So at this point, we've now created our pool play plus our playoffs. And now before I go to any other bracket, I like to hit the scheduling page and schedule these games.
All right.
Which is in the top right-hand corner there. We hit that schedule button. And again, for our longtime users, this is now another new page for us to walk through.
Yes. So instead of a calendar, it's a kind of like a grid system, which still follows the rules of a calendar, but it's in the form of a grid. So one thing you'll notice right off the hop is that all of your days of the tournament are all there and available. So you don't have to jump between days anymore.
I love that feature.
If you ever had to move a team or a game from one day to another,
yeah,
good luck in the last system. Now it's very easy. But what you will notice is that there's no available time slots here. And that was one of the things I did like about the old calendar, because it was just a calendar. You didn't have to set up availability, which is good and bad. I think you should have to, because like, how do you know if you actually have that space or not available for a game? So here, because you are setting up the grid, you do need to do this initial setup. So, but we've made it really quick. So go to manage time slots. Yep.
And let me just zoom in here. So it is at the top here. It's this little button here, manage time slots. So we hit that. Perfect.
Yeah. So there's some options in here. So obviously you can do all the days at one time, or you just do each day. Okay. So all of them. you get to choose how do you want these time slots automation to end. So if I knew I was having 5 games a day on each field, or was this court? On each court, I could leave it at numbered time slots. Or if I know I'm going from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., I could do end time. And it will just plug in the amount of games it can until it's run out of time.
So let's do it that way.
Let's do it that way? Okay, so cool. So starting at 8 a.m., the duration is 120 minutes because that's the duration of your games.
And we talked about that earlier of the importance of matching up your time slots or your game length with the duration here of your time slots. And because it's so important, you guys do bring through you bring through that 120 because it was set at the game level.
Yeah, like I said, I want to reiterate, it's not necessary, it's not required, but it makes the experience a lot better. It's the whole point of this being a grid, and you'll see it, you'll feel it in a moment. So keep it at 120. So you're going to go from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yep.
So again, you don't need, this is what I was saying too, you don't necessarily need to use break. If you've built in, if you require breaks and it's built into your game duration, you don't need to worry about it here.
Right.
If it's not built into your game duration, you might want to set a break time.
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes, whatever. This is where it was also not as important to put it on the rest time between games when you're creating the game. So,
cool.
But you have lots of options. So, okay, so you're going to go from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 120 minutes. So, yeah, so you get the question, how do you want to resolve conflicts with existing time slots? So if you had existing time slots on there, if the times were to ever meet, what do you want to do? Do you want to delete everything and start fresh? Or do you want to delete just the ones you run into? So if you're selecting court 1 and 2 on Friday, it will just, if you select delete all, it will delete everything on those times first and then create your new ones. If you do only delete conflicting, it'll only delete the time slots that it touches, that they run into or they conflict with. You don't need to worry about it because you don't have any. So
yeah, there you go.
So hit create,
and then we'll just do event for this. We're going to do this across all venues and sites. But again, you could select only 1 or 2 if you wanted.
Exactly.
We're going to hit create.
This is my favorite.
And
because this used to take, how long would this take? It's taking a whole day almost to fill in this many time slots. Yeah. And boom, there they are.
Amazing.
So it's gone all the way from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., so 6 o'clock is the last start time.
And again, this is across all days, and you're seeing all days in one view. You don't have to click between them like you said from the old one.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
So here's I just want to bring this feature out right off the hop. I wonder if this will show up in your screen share. But if you hit the square beside event schedule, this will bring you a full screen view. So you see how you're side scrolling and you got like scrolls on scrolls on scrolls? Yeah. This is a non-scrolly window that just takes away the header, takes away all the fluff around it. And this is like one view where that left side scrolls and the right side scrolls, but nothing in between scrolls around. So you can't ever lose your place. You're always still within the grid view. So this is my favorite place to work. Just get rid of all of the fluff around it. Maximize the space around the scheduling. So the one thing that's also different about this is there's no drag and drop anymore. We're doing this like click and drop concept.
So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So I'm going to select the game, and you will notice that when I'm hovering over a game, you're seeing the little highlights on the right hand side on the other games. Yeah. That's the teams are playing in those games.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So I'm going to select just one game, for example. And then like Bobby said, I'm not even holding my mouse right now. I'm just dragging it over and I can click it at any place. There's no load time. There's nothing like that. It's just super quick and we're clicking and dropping. Now I demonstrated it with just one game, but we could select, all of round 1 and do that. And before I go too far, I want to shout out in the top here, you have the ability to look at this from rounds. And rounds means like everyone playing one game, regardless of what pool they're in.
Right.
And then there's pools. And I've actually was working with a partner this week. He wanted to schedule all of Group A.
Yeah.
And then all of Group B.
Exactly.
And so that's why this is really cool. We've never had the ability to filter like that. And so that, again, for our partners, that's just on the right-hand side here. And then the other one is just straight up games. So you can have all the games in one list if you want.
And remember how I showed you that numbered game?
Yep.
That's where that's handy. Because
Right.
if you do number your games from like 1 to 60,
Mm-hmm.
they are now in that order. So whatever the naming convention is of the game, that's how they're going to show up there. So it's very helpful. That means you have to know the number before you get here, but we'll get into that later.
Cool. So I'm just gonna show a couple more clicks here. So as we click through, very easy to keep the games being scheduled. And in the right-hand side, top right-hand corner, you'll see the games are starting to disappear. So that was all the games I selected, and that's kind of showing up in the top right-hand corner. The rest of the games that we need to schedule are sitting in the right-hand side here.
Right. So go back to scheduling by round.
Yep.
So you can see there now round 1 is all done.
Very cool. Very cool. And
And,
so we have rounds 2 through 5 to schedule. And in this case, there's 5 rounds because we said that every team was playing 5 games in their pool.
Right. Now check this out. When you select round 2, we're showing you the grayed out area is actually where we're suggesting that they can't be played there because there's already the teams you have in that game where it's selected, they're already scheduled on a spot. So that's what that grayed out area is.
It's amazing. Yeah.
On field 1, 2, and court 1 and 2
That's
Bud
great.
Gardens.
And in the same vein, we don't have it set up in this scenario, but coach restrictions,
Same thing.
same thing, right?
If there's 2 coaches, if there's a coach on the same team, it'll actually fake disable that spot. And what I want to get better at is telling you why.
Right.
And that's gonna be the next upgrade, is to tell you exactly why it's grayed out.
Cool. Awesome. So the process kind of continues from here, and we're not going to click and snap all these, 43 games into place. But we would finish our schedule out, including your playoff round, and they would all be placed on the schedule here.
One thing I'd like to point out too is that the highlighting of the teams that are their other games, it's really handy here as well if you want to split up what courts they're on.
Right.
So if you want to give them an experience on all the fields or all the courts, as you're scheduling it, it'll already show you where they've played.
Which is awesome, and I know a big thing with some of our baseball partners because typically it's baseball diamonds where they're very different, right? So there's a stadium, and then there's a ton of backfields that you're kind of want to make sure that everyone plays at the stadium and then has their fair share on the other.
Well, there's always
as
the
well.
best one. Is the main field, the main diamond is the best one to play at. So
Right.
everyone wants to get an opportunity to play there. Yeah,
100%. 100%. Now, any other cool features on the right hand side you want to shout out or make sure our partners are aware of on this page?
I'll show you how to you can swap teams, so swap games. So if you just select one of the games there, if you hover over any other game, there's a little swap button in the corner. There you go. You can hit that. It'll swap those 2 games.
Very cool.
You also have a cool feature here. It's called auto save. So at the top there, where it's got that check mark, if you unselect that, now you can schedule all you want. It won't save to the system unless you actually hit the save button. Whereas if you hit that on, now your auto save is turned on. So do another round. Just finish scheduling round 2, and I'll show you something really cool. So you've popped this up into a new window.
Yep.
So behind the scenes, you have the previous window that you were working in. It was all there. That's where you came from. It's also worth noting, because I just noticed we did this a couple of times. When you select round 2, it is also selecting all of round 2 that you've already scheduled.
Right.
I'd love to get some feedback. Is that something you'd actually expect it to? You'd expect it to select just the unscheduled.
Yeah, 100%. I think once you have it on the calendar, you're like, okay, I'm set with those. I'm going to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And then, like you just showed us, that swap feature might be how I'd want to change games around within a round.
Right.
But if I put it on the calendar, typically our partners are like ready with that game on.
Now, this whole time you've been working on a new window that you popped up from the old one. So you should be able to just hit the close there. and all the changes are live
Very
updated
cool.
on the window you came from. So what would happen is that you would go to this full screen mode, you'd make all these changes, you'd close that window, you'd land back here where you came from, none of the changes would have applied.
Right.
So I actually made it so that the two windows are talking to each other. So when you make a change there, it's making them down
That's
here
cool.
too.
That's cool. No one's having a minor panic attack that the games are gone.
Well, I didn't even think of that until somebody pointed it out. I was like, oh my gosh, that's true. You would come back like, I just did all this work and it's just all gone.
That would be a 10 p.m. phone call for sure.
Oh yeah, that to me too.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
So once we have all of our games scheduled, in this case, we still have a little bit of work to do, but a lot of our partners want ways to take this out of the system. We have a lot of partners that are using the mobile app and the standings page, but there is a use case where we want to export this and download it out. Show me the upgrade you've done here.
All right, well, I'm glad you brought that up because we used to just have a basic simple CSV export, which allowed users to take this data, put it into Excel, format it the way they want, which is obviously a lot of work for them, especially when they've done all this work already. Now, if you just hit the, beside the autosave to the left, there's this download button. Click on that. We've actually introduced the ability to download right into Excel. So now you've downloaded this schedule. It looks exactly the same.
Sweet.
Right into Excel, which has the exact same format as the grid. And you'll even notice at the top, it's separated into pages that are the days of the tournament. So that's day one, there's Saturday, and then there's Sunday.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's formatted the exact same way you'd get it from our grid.
Right.
So no more CSV on this page.
That's awesome. Amazing. And while we're talking downloads, for any of our partners that are using game sheets, we know it's an integral part of some of the event operations that they do. That's if there's game sheets score on the iPads. There is a really cool download for that as well. Again, it's formatted the way you need to put it in game sheets. So if we go over into our standings and scoring, and we scroll all the way to the bottom of our page. Now, there's nothing showing because we haven't published the schedule, but export to game sheet. Same kind of idea that you just showed. It's going to be the exact format that they need to then do a simple CSV upload into the company game sheets. So
That's great.
Yeah, so again, less formatting time. You just hit that button and boom, you're off to the races. So there's been some cool upgrades in that section
I love
as well.
it. So that's cool. Like having the separate teams within the dev team here. It's I didn't know that feature existed.
Oh,
that's
cool.
a really
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
upgrade.
Yeah, well, and to that point, we're able to push on so many different pieces, right? With the dynamics of our teams.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
sweet.
it.
Cool, man.
But also,
cool.
yeah, then there's the classic auto, the auto scheduler, which is going to be a big focus next year, or in the new year, I should say, not next year.
And that auto scheduler is not active on this screen right now, right?
It is.
Oh, okay.
The schedule button there.
Cool.
That's the auto scheduler.
Sweet.
It's just a little. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's not quite there yet.
Gotcha. So it's our auto scheduler that our clients are used to.
It's the same one.
Yeah. Awesome. And so the goal in the next phase of this is to be continuing to tweak and upgrade our auto schedule.
Yeah, we want to maybe bring AI into it to kind of say like, hey, we think that this would be a good schedule.
Right.
This would be a great place to put. Do you want to? Here's a preview of what this could look like. Hit go instead of like tweaking numbers and then just praying that it works.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that I've chatted a lot with our partners on. The discussion around the integration of AI and how that can help someone that does a schedule. But I'll be very honest, the feedback I get from our partners that do scheduling is we don't really necessarily need or want that to the point of they're so customized.
Yeah.
And there's so many factors that go into it that there's not enough, I would guess they probably practice with the AI tools around how that would impact scheduling. And I think what we're learning is in working with our partners, there's going to be a place for the AI, but it's not going to be the 100% solve of how our partners
you're not
do
going
their
to see
work.
AI will be working in the background until it's ready because you're absolutely right. Everyone's customized. It's all different. We're not going to be able to write one algorithm that just does it all.
Yeah.
What we can do though is continuously learn based on their scheduling habits until we have a time to actually roll out true AI. And it'll be geared towards the partner, not towards what we want as the algorithm.
Right.
It'll be like, no, we recognize that you've done this in the past. Here's what it could look like. And it'll never just be plop it down. It'd be more like hit the button and then here's what this could look like. And you're gonna go, I like it or I don't. I wanna use it or I don't want to use it. You know what I mean? Like, we're never just gonna be like, there's your schedule. Sorry.
Yeah. And I think that is what we continue to learn about the youth sports space, especially when it comes to scheduling, is that the level of customization that's needed to put on the product that people expect and come to expect is very hands-on. And that's where, as we wrap up our chat today, the biggest takeaway our partners should have from these upgrades is that you've spent a lot of time in building tools that allow them to customize their schedule at a very efficient pace.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it, actually.
Yeah, cool. Awesome, Bob. Well, really appreciate the time. I think very excited about the tools that you and the team have rolled out, and looking forward to doing another one of these in the near future when you have more cool tools to show us.
I'm excited for that too.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.